got city manager's comments and update on city operations.
Mayor, as the Utilities Department comes up for preparation of the CPR report, I would like to bring a couple of items to the attention of the council and the public at large. Our Sandbag program and distribution program is proving to be successful. We've given away approximately 1,200 bags thus far, and our next program will be this Saturday in District 2 at Del Mar College over on Baldwin Boulevard. You can also learn more about this program at cctexas.com/sandbagsaturdays. There is also a display at the library, at the main library at La Retama, over on Comanche, starting now through September 1st. It'll be Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Local students in the area have put together some artwork in numerous forms: poetry, drawings, molds, glasswork, photography, paintings, all of the above. And this is to commemorate their experiences and viewpoints and express their experiences and viewpoints in artistic form. And it's from different communities in the region: Gregory, Portland, Port Aransas, Rockport, Flower Bluff, and of course Corpus Christi. So all of that will be on display over at the library. Also, we do have a video on that we will be playing during the break today, about an 8-minute video or so that'll be playing, and it's also available on YouTube at CCTV Corpus Christi. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Utilities Department. After the Utility Department presents, Mayor, we do have a presentation down in the front.
Okay, Mr. Grimswell.
All right, good morning, Mayor, City Council. I'm Dan Grimswell, Executive Director of Water Utilities, and I also have with me Reba George, Assistant Director of Support Services. Today I will be discussing the Water Utilities City Performance Report. Water Utilities serves as the Department for Water, Wastewater, and Stormwater, which are depicted in both the mission statement and operational profile. The baseline information you see on this page allows the public to see annual trends for key factors such as the average million of gallons of potable water treated per day. Through our performance indicators, I'd like to touch on two messages. One, our systems are stable, and two, efficiencies are being sought and initiated. So we go to the first graph here. All right, this graph is showing that our water system is stable. As seen in the graph, we can see that FY16 and a few prior years were a bit challenging. The good news is the graph now indicates that of the approximately 300 samples taken per month from the 98 approved sample sites located across the city, all samples tested are above our minimum goal of 1.75 milligrams per liter, which is 3.5 times the TCEQ minimum level of 0.5 milligrams per liter. The fantastic news is that since May 2017, the water system residual, also known as disinfection, is averaging about 3.0 milligrams per liter, which is 6 times the minimum TCEQ limit. The gap you see in the graph was when the city was on free chlorine. What have we done to maintain the system stable? We have installed and are using the chlorine dioxide system. We cycle all water tanks at least 50% a day, and because we were running the pumps at the pump stations less because of the cycling, we've also saved about $500,000 in electrical costs. We have positioned, correctly repaired, or replaced numerous valves across the city. We're replacing old water lines. And lastly, we monitor our water quality going in and out of the water treatment plant and throughout the water distribution system.
Wait a minute. Just one observation. Probably I shouldn't do this, but I can't help myself. That was in May of 2017, right?
Right.
And all these good things have happened since then, right?
They started before then, we were initiating them, and then we have been doing them since that time and
Okay.
continue to do
Well,
them.
I just, that's when I got to be mayor in May of 17, so that's why I wanted to make sure. All right, proceed. With the support of the council, we've been able to accomplish a lot of stuff.
Yes, sir, understood. All right, and let me get to the next one real quick. All right. Another metric that indicates we have a stable system is the number of spills or sanitary system overflows in a wastewater collection system. As seen in this graph, in 2013, we were at about 550 overflows. We have substantially decreased the number of overflows to the amount we are now operating as a well-performing system. Our goal is to have 5 or less overflows per 100 miles per month. We have approximately 1,400 miles of collection system. So our goal is to have 70 or less per year, with the ultimate goal closer to 0, obviously. You might see a couple spikes, such as the ones at the end of the graph, and I can zoom in a little bit on that. You might see a couple of the spikes, such as the ones in January and June of 2018, which indicate large rain events. For example, in June 2018, we had about 12 inches of rain. In this case, we received an emergency declaration from the governor to account for the spike right there. So we had a rain event there and there. For smaller rain events that exceed our system design, we will submit to TCQ a force majeure letter to explain why there are overflows. What have we done to decrease and make stable the sewer system overflows? We are cleaning areas more routinely that are known to be a problem. We're replacing old sewer lines through our IDIQ contract, which right now is for $12 million a year and is pay-as-you-go. We are inspecting with our camera and cleaning sewer lines, starting with the most problematic ones first. We have a flow constraint project underway, which is taking actual measurements of the sewer system for possible constraint locations to determine if the system is working as designed or to determine if there's any flow constraints that need to be addressed. Point 2, we are continuously looking for efficiency, and in this graph, it shows that the crews are restoring water main breaks faster and more consistently. Although our goal is currently 75%, which is basically saying that of the breaks we have, right now we're approaching between 90-95% of completion before the 24 hours and above the 75%. Although our goal is currently 75%, as we become more efficient at repairing water breaks, our goal could tighten up. What have we done to increase our efficiency to store water breaks more quickly? We have acquired new equipment, such as valve machines that are used to exercise and replace valves. We have various size excavators, so we have the right size for the right repair job. The excavators now have quick disconnects so the crews can bring with them both the jackhammer and bucket or other devices needed to make the repairs, and then don't have to go back to the shop to gain various equipment. Through IDIQ water contract and in-house construction crews, we are replacing water lines. We have level loaded our construction crews and staff, ensuring the best use of our personnel. And the last graph here. Another efficiency we found is the energy cost savings per million of gallons of water treated at the 6 wastewater treatment plants. This graph is showing the average of the 6 wastewater treatment plants. As seen in this graph, we have continued to decrease the energy cost of treating wastewater and are close to reaching our goal of $202 per million gallons. This is a national average, And this study, a study was completed by the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, so that's the goal that we chose, 202, based on that study. What have we done to increase our operation efficiency at the wastewater treatment plants? We have established better operating practices at the wastewater treatment plants, which in turn have reduced the runtime of the 40 blowers located at the 6 wastewater treatment plants. We are in the process of modernizing the 6 wastewater treatment plants with better blowers, pumps that operate more efficiently. So as you can see, this is kind of a rundown of some of the parameters that we're showing on the city progress report and that the public can see. And at this point, I'm standing by for any questions.
Ms. Opal.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think we could all start off with this presentation and go, whew, good report. Nice to see that. I was kind of settling myself and didn't quite get the very first discussion. Did you call this the utilities department?
Yes.
So organizations like the city, they change and they evolve. So is that the new department, utilities department?
It's just strictly it's not utilities, it's the water department, but we consist of the 3 water utilities, if you want to say.
But basically,
water utilities department.
you know, I trade in craft of wordsmith. So
Right.
basically, you're trying to wordsmith me here, saying we no longer have a water department, wastewater department. We have a water utilities department, and within that, water utilities is part of that function, wastewater utilities is part of that function. And so I just think that's pretty important. Does that mean we have a director for each one of those underneath that, or have we seen an organizational change that's gone away?
That has gone away, and what we have now is myself, executive director, and we will have on board, we've already hired a water director, essentially one below me, and then we have assistant directors in the 4 areas. I say 4 because we have a department of services which handle, because we're a large department, our finance, our purchasing, helps with legal matters, and that's Reba sitting next to me. Then we have an assistant director for each of the main areas, which is stormwater, water, and wastewater.
So I just don't want that to get past anyone
Well,
here on the
maybe
council.
correct myself. It's really 3 assistant directors, but it's maintenance of lines, which constitutes all the lines, and that's where stormwater kind of falls in. And then we have treatment of wastewater and treatment of water. So that's how it's actually broken down.
So, you know, I started looking for street maintenance one time after I left the city of Corpus Christi, and it sort of went away. So I just think this is evolutionary for the city, and I think I always hark back to one of my first jobs when I was an employee in the human resources for the city of Corpus Christi to write a job description for a lifeguard. And I wrote the beach lifeguard and the pool lifeguard as the same kind of job description, and was quickly educated on why there are certain distinctions between those functions. And you guys are the experts, but there seem to be some distinctions among these functions. The one thing that is not listed here that you will not be surprised that I'm going to bring up, and we'll give you the opportunity to give us the tease, is that stormwater is not listed as one of the things that you have highlighted. And clearly that has been a discussion here lately about stormwater and how we're doing and what we're going to do with that. And I think it's rising to our next level of urgency, if you will. And I think we're going to have to look at that. But I think this is an interesting shift for the city to combine all of these water, wastewater, stormwater. There's 2 utilities, right? Water and wastewater are utilities. Is that correct?
Well, it's all water utilities. That's all under myself.
No, I mean legally as a utility, because stormwater is not a utility, right? It's not a separate utility. It doesn't have its own utility function. But water is a separate utility as a utility, because that has a legal definition, right? So
Water is managed by TCEs. Oh, so is stormwater through the MS4 permit. I mean, I guess it depends what you're trying to ask me.
Well,
I mean, it's not a utility in the strictest sense, although I think some cities treat it that way. But
Actually-
water and wastewater are your common ones.
yeah, to answer your question, I think there was an attempt back in the mid-90s to set up stormwater as a utility with all the bells and whistles that come with being a utility. And so basically, does this, when you call it water utilities, does it change anything about the functions? Do all utilities function the same?
Well, I would say yes, because for us managing stormwater, we're responsible for ensuring all the inlets are clean, all the ditches are mowed and leveled. We maintain the pump stations downtown. So from a standpoint of operation, that falls under me, and I ensure that all the stormwater systems are maintained correctly.
I was told that, and I have not had a chance to research that, and I'm assuming that we're going to have some future discussion on some of this, that utilities per se have requirements about how we share that and communicate with the public about the utility. So stormwater doesn't have that in and of itself, which is why it is now embedded in the water rate, I'm assuming. Are we just, so anyway, we can talk about that at great length, but I just, when I saw that flash before me, it was different. What you just presented as part of this report is different than what it's a different organizational structure than I thought we had. So now we have you as executive director. We're going to have assistant directors overseeing water and wastewater.
We have an assistant director over treatment of water.
Okay.
And that assistant director also is in charge of the dams, so water supply, which is the dams and the Mary Woods pipeline. Then you have a assistant director, of wastewater treatment, and that assistant director is in charge of the 6 wastewater treatment plants, and then all the lift stations. And then you have an assistant director of maintenance and lines, and that assistant director is in charge of all the water lines, wastewater lines, and stormwater lines.
Okay.
Now, the stormwater pumps downtown actually fall under, because we treat them as a lift station sort of, under the wastewater assistant director.
They kind of function that way.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just a water lift station, but it's still a lift station.
The physics work kind of the same way, the material may be a little different. All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Garza.
Dan, thanks for your presentation. The only question I've got is that now you've got a separate assistant director for maintenance lines, and I know that how well we maintain those lines is going to determine how efficient our wastewater plants. Say, for instance, if we have seepage, or we're collecting rainwater into our wastewater lines because we've got issues in some of the age of those lines, it's going to impact our wastewater plants. So how are you going to be able to make sure that your maintenance director has got a robust enough program that's going to keep us ahead of what we've got to do on the wastewater treatment plant side?
So we have right now 7 Vector trucks that are used to help maintain maintenance, and we have a camera crew that is used for helping with cleaning and then determining if there were breaks. So if we have a backup, our crews go out there, get a work order, go out there and make the repairs. As far as replacing the lines, we don't have in-house crews for wastewater. We do for water, but we have our IDIQ contract for the $12 million pay-as-you-go. And right now, that contract is moving ahead, doing pipe bursting on lines. And so since 2015, right now, we've completed approximately 100,000 linear feet, which is approximately 19 miles of sewer lines through that contract. So we are in the process of replacing sewer lines. And of course, we're starting with the ones that we know are most problematic, or sometimes we refer as hot spots, and those are being replaced first. And as over the years, we'll continue to replace these lines year to year.
Well, I know that a little while back, we got into doing a lot of video, using a video camera or video camera contractor to get out there and actually assess the condition of the line, so that we would be able to put together a program that would allow us to be able to
And we do
preventive maintenance versus
That's
just
about $2 million,
responding.
and that's also pay-as-you-go. We have a contractor that does CCTVing of the lines and cleaning of the lines. And currently, since we've kind of mostly started really in earnest in June of 2017, so from June 2017 through July 2018, we're CCTVing or videoing and cleaning approximately 20,000 linear feet of sewer line per month. So again, we're well on our way of looking at every line throughout the city over the next set period of years.
Well, the concern that I have is just as we go videotaping those lines and we get an assessment of what percentage of lines need replacement, that we look at what capital dollars we need to put into replacing those lines so that it actually matches a number of bad lines that we have.
Well, a lot of times what we do is if it's bad enough, when the contractor who's videoing them is bad enough, what we'll do is we'll make a delivery order on the IDIQ contract and prioritize it on that contract to get done sooner. Because sometimes we do find lines that are in worse shape than others. So we can reprioritize which lines are getting done when. But the $12 million is going to raise to $18 million. I don't remember what year exactly, but again, it's working towards fixing those, what we call infiltration situations with the sewer lines.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Nobody else? All right. Well, it's a great report, thanks.
Yes, sir, thank you.
We're making progress, a lot of progress, appreciate it. Let's see. Well, Mr. Selman, I think that,
Mayor, I did have a recognition, but we can do that after the public comment.
all right, well, let's do it now in case that person needs to get back to work or whatever. I'm not sure
Okay.
who it is who
If
surprises.
we'll all work our way to the front, Mayor.
We don't want to keep staff here any longer than they have to. They got work to do.
Mayor, I think you've said it a couple of times, when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Yes, sir.
And we're here to recognize Margaret Morin today, who is the director in the UBO and manager of the UBO office. We've been in a transition period, and it's been a tough go, and you all know that. And when you all have had issues and people in the community have come to you all, she's the one that has fielded your concerns and has taken the load in dealing with our public during this transition period. And for those reasons, she was given Employee of the Quarter. And at this time, I really want to thank you for all that you've done through this tough transition. Thank you.
I'll make it short and sweet so I can return to the office. I would like to thank Mr. Keith Selman and the City Council for this recognition. I would also like to thank Ms. Sylvia for believing in me, and also Ms. Constance and Ms. Alma for their never-ending support. However, it is the UBO staff that is most deserving of this award. While there have been many challenges, the motto in UBO is that tomorrow is going to be a better day. We are here to better serve the citizens of this community. Without them, I would not be where I am today. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got to get down here.
Picture. In the picture, guys.